Okay, so once we have our masterpiece completed and we're all done and ready, I have the duration set at 30 seconds here. So if I kind of scroll through this again in preview mode, it's going to sort of show me what it looks like for 30 seconds. So, all right. So that could be that this is, my piece is completed now and I'm ready to go ahead and just export it. So there's a couple different ways that you can kind of export your image or your video, I'm sorry, out of here. And so, one way to do it is just to go up here to File, and go to Export, and go to Add to Media, Encoder, or you can also, like send it to the render queue. So what I like to do, because I think it just works better, is I go up to Composition and I go Add to Render Queue. So again, when you're done, you have everything organized the way you want it, you go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. Then you'll get this kind of list of possibilities down here of things that you can do in the render queue. And one of them is you want to make sure you're telling it where it's going to go. So you want to, again, select the right place that you want to put this thing. If you have your desktop sort of folder ready to go, or your jump drive, or wherever it is. And then you want to just make sure you title it something that you will remember. So sometimes the footage definitely piles up. So click Save on that and you're just telling it where to put it. And then here you have your render settings. And I usually recommend people don't mess with that at all, because you don't really want to make it like a draft render unless you're playing with something really high res. So you can just leave that alone. And then if you go to lossless though, where it says output module, this is the one that I always like to play with. So again, we have all these options for things. In our case, we don't really have any audio, right? So we're going to turn the audio off, because we don't need that. It just takes up extra space in your file. And then where it says format options, we're going to click on that. And where it says video codec, where it says animation, we're going to change that into H.264, which this is just a nice kind of all-purpose file format. It allows you to upload stuff to YouTube really easily, Vimeo, stuff like that. And you can change the quality if you really want to just check it at a low quality, but I would say just leave all this stuff alone. Definitely don't play with any of this. Click OK. And then you're kind of, you've gone through, you've checked it, you've turned your output, your audio off, you've changed it to H.264, click OK on it. And now it's just basically in line. So it's the render queue is there, it's all ready to go. And sometimes rendering takes a really long time depending on how much you have AfterEffects do, how much you've asked it to do. So when I click render on this, you're going to see there's this little kind of blue progress bar that comes across here. And as it gets into the more complicated sort of mathematical stuff I've asked AfterEffects to do, it just it'll slow down. It'll take a long time for it to save. But the blue bar will move along, and again, this is why you never want to put your project off till it's right before it's due. You want to make sure you render this and upload it way before it's due in class. But that's the basics of it. It's now rendering. It's going to put that wherever I told it to, which in my case is going to be on my desktop. And then we can open up that file and look at it, and you want to check it, watch it after it's rendered to make sure nothing weird happens. And then we're going to export those up to YouTube or Vimeo or something like that, where we can watch them in class. So congrats on getting all the way through a AfterEffects project. It's a big program with lots of moving pieces to it and lots of things you can learn, but this is just our basic introduction for our class.